7 a.m. this morning, day one of the 2006 Bassmaster Classic, as 51 of the greatest bass anglers in the world take off in search for the top prize money of $500,000. February can be very good in the state of Florida to bass fishermen, and they found that out today.
Let's go to dancing now. Woo, that's the right kind. All day long. Woo.
Have clearly separated themselves from the rest of the pack in professional bass fishing. One, a two-time and defending champion of bass fishing's career-defining tournament.
If you're going to be successful in this sport, you have to truly love it. You have to live it, breathe it. You have to be obsessed with it. I haven't lost that obsession, and I don't think I will anytime soon.
The other, a three-time runner-up, just 6 ounces away from being the Classic's best in Pittsburgh last year.
I've been first place loser 3 years in a row. Not third, not fourth, is second. How many seconds can one guy get consecutively? I didn't think it was possible. First place is everything, you know?
Today, reigning Citgo Bassmaster Classic champion Kevin VanDam and reigning Angler of the Year Aaron Martens renew the battle for bass fishing supremacy, neither giving way to the other.
I feel his pain because 3 times in a row has been right there, but I love to win, no doubt.
He's a fierce competitor. He's not going to let me have it. Know that. But he's won 2. It's too many. Too quick.
Welcome, everybody, to day one of fishing on Kissimmee, Florida's beautiful Lake Toho. It's the 2006 Citgo Bassmaster Classic, the measure of bass fishing's best. Welcome, everybody. You're looking live inside the Orange County Convention Center. Kissimmee, Florida is the place that they face off for the top prize money this year of the 2006 Citgo Bassmaster Classic. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin, and welcome to the great state of Florida. And this year, the title money has gone up. It is now $500,000. And in fact, on Friday evening at dinner, Denny Brower, who won this title before, said, you know, if you got your sponsors lined up right, now to win this thing, it could be worth as much as $1.5 million. We are in the state of Florida. Let's take a look at a map and show you exactly where the guys are going to be fishing this weekend. Lake Toho, Lake Cypress, Hatchnaha, and also Kissimmee, Florida. And the rules that they will abide by over the next 3 days of this tournament, this is the way they look. 3 days of competition, 51 anglers. Field will be cut to 25 on the final day, 5 fish limit per day. You must fish within the boundaries, and the highest 3-day total will win and take home the top prize money. Now let's go upstairs and meet the 3 gentlemen who will be handling the analysis of what's going on. Here's Jay, Byron, and Shaw. Guys?
Ron, thank you very much. Yesterday, Byron and Shaw served as my fishing guides today, and for the next 3 days, they will be our expert anglers. Byron, of course, a record holder. We're going to get to Byron Velvick with more on that in just a second. Shaw Grigsby, a guy who is in the top 10 all-time money winners. Shaw, you've taken a lot of money out of this lake.
This lake is awesome. They're going to fish on the Kissimmee chain. It's the best chain of lakes. Giant fish. We could see records drop right here.
Absolutely. This is going to be a big fish festival. Guys are going to be catching a lot of fish, and I have a record. 3 days, 5 fish each day for 83 pounds, and I'm hearing weights that might break that record, Shaw.
Oh, no!
And I don't want to lose that record.
Shaw, should he be nervous?
Yeah, he's got a killer record out of California. They got big bass there, but I'm telling you, it could fall here.
This is a big fish factory, and we're here at the right time of year to watch it go nuts.
Let's look at that fish factory. Ron took us through the lakes. Guys, let's go a little deeper here. What should we expect from each one?
The northernmost lake is Lake Toho. Loads of beautiful grass up in the north end, makes it good and clear for sight fishing. It's just got some real good fish.
And here's Lake Cypress. This is basically a freeway. Guys are actually ripping through this. We haven't seen anybody really fishing it yet that we know of, Shaw, but I know you love the next lake.
Both of these. They're Cypress and Hatchnaha are great lakes, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of anglers in those lakes. But the fourth and final lake down at the bottom is Lake Kissimmee.
Sometimes
and it
consider
is
the bell of the ball.
That
Absolutely.
Last year, Takahiro won out of there.
Yeah, this is the place where last year everybody raced down there. They had to get down there as fast as they could because most of the fish were there.
Last year, of course, the Classic was in Pittsburgh in July. This year, moved to February. Guys, what effect will the move have on the Classic?
Big, big fish. What's happening when you come into February is you're bringing a lot of those big fish up shallow where we can get to them easy.
Why are they up higher?
It's the time of year. It's February in Florida. These fish want to spawn. They're moving up right now. They want to make beds. They're either thinking about spawning. They already have, but they're very easy to catch because they are shallow, and easy accessibility of these fish right now is a key element.
One of the things all of the anglers are thinking about this week, breaking records. And really the creme de la creme of records, the single biggest bass. It was caught back in 1976. Ricky Green pulled in a record fish, 8 pounds, 9 ounces. I spoke with Ricky earlier this week. He said, sadly, he expects to see that record fall by the wayside. Guys, how long will that hold up?
It's held up for 30 years, and it's going to drop in the first hour. Probably.
It may have been in the first cast. For all we know, a guy went out, made his first cast, and broke that record, or at least saw one that would have broke the record.
Absolutely.
30-year record gone in the first day, possibly.
I pretty much guarantee it's done when you finish weigh in today. It's over.
All right. Well, speaking of records, one thing we know, Dean Rojas had a record-setting catch, a one-day catch. It was the best single day in competitive bass fishing history. Take a look.
January 17th, 2001, a day of unmatched proportion, to say the least. Catching 45 pounds, 2 ounces, it was one of those magical days that you dream about. From the third flip, catching that 10-12, which was the first one that came in the boat, I knew something was going to happen that day. It was very special. Everything just kind of flowed. The neat thing about that day was I watched all of them eat my bait. The water was so clear that I could actually watch those big females come down and engulf my lizard. When I did catch that last fish, I sat down and I said, I have to prepare because my life's going to change. It was just an unbelievable feeling, and just sit there and watching that digital readout and then lock in on 45.2 was a dream come true.
Yeah, you can only imagine, guys, how close to that 45.2 might we see someone come here this weekend?
You never know. We're where it can happen.
It's hard to say. We're back at the same lake, same place it happened. Great time of year. Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Well, Dean Rojas would love to have a 45-pound day here at the Bassmaster Classic. Let's go downstairs to the scales. That's where Keith Allen is standing by. Keith, take it away. How'd Dean do?
Let's hook it up for the man that set the records on this lake in 2001 from Lake Havasu, Arizona, Dean Rojas. Rojas set records that many say may never be beat. If anybody can do it, Dino can. Let's see what he's got in store, how his day went on Lake Toho, the scene of the crime in 2001. Dean, with a smile on his face, talk to me, dude. How was the day? You're all mic'd up and good to go. Dean is reaching in that live well, and he has got something in store. Talk about 45.2. That was a day of like 9-pounders. Oh, hello, bucket mouth. Well, Dean, I see you've got a good smile going. Watch your step and talk to me about the day. Got a nice kicker right there in the bag. When we talk about that day in 2001, 45.2, I'm no good with the new math, but that's like a bag of 9-pounders. That's the stuff dreams are made of, and, well, a lot of people say that record may never be broken.
Well, that'd be fine with me, Keith. It's been a wonderful ride, and I'm just happy to be back here on Toho again.
19.3 leads the tournament, 17 pounds even for Dean Rojas today. Woo. Second place right now. Sure, it's early on the way in, but Rojas getting done what he wants to do. We'll take a look at Dean's day on the water. Let's take a look at Dean Rojas on the water today.
Keith, it was really hard to see him today because of the overcast conditions, and I didn't really get a chance to do a whole lot of sight fishing. Although I did catch 4 or 5 on it, but I found something out later on this afternoon that I think is going to help me out for the rest of the week.
You want to tell us what it is?
No, I think we'll wait. We'll wait a little bit. It's fun. The fish are moving and changing. Because the weather's changing and it's getting cooler a little bit. So, I'm just going to go out tomorrow and try and put some more fish in the boat. I found a few more located today that will be for tomorrow and on Saturday.
Now, what I want to know is, did you return to the scene of the crime back in 2001 where it was so stacked that day?
Yeah, I did. I went there and practiced, but ever since they had the the lake, when they changed everything, they dredged it and everything, it changed a lot of the lake, and I had to move to different areas. This fish I caught in the last 2 minutes of the day today, that big one I caught, and I had about 30 seconds to go, and I don't know, you might see me go crazy here because that was the biggest one of the day for me, and I caught it in the last 5 minutes, so it worked out well.
Well, awesome job. Great job. We're going to send it right back upstairs to Jay.
Okay.
All right, Keith, thank you very much. Guys, overcast skies limiting the amount of sight fishing today. How will that affect the way this thing plays out?
Well, if you look at his last fish, it was definitely a sight fish, so his big fish still came sight fishing.
And you can see him. If you're persistent, you can see him. Wind, rain, guys, like I know Shaw does, we look right through that stuff, and it's better sometimes because the inclement weather will shut guys down. Some guys won't sight fish when they should.
Right.
All right, we talk about sight fishing. Let's take a look.
Put on a pair of sunglasses, boom, everything actually on these little light spot glows.
And here's the thing, you get the males up early. The males are guarding the bed, and they're just waiting to move those big females up, but you throw there. The cast is the key. Where you're going to put that bait in position, bring it towards the fish. There he is. He's wanting to hit it as the bait comes into the bed, not exiting the bed. Sean,
it's pretty cool. I know. We'd like to be out there. But this is kind of a neat deal, and what's really special about it is that all the biologists say no impact whatsoever. The most important thing is,
you know, it's not going to hurt the fish. It's a proven fact. This does not hurt fisheries. Guys just don't like doing it, but it's a key ingredient to winning in tournaments like this if you're not doing it.
Gotta practice catch and release on all these.
Yep. You need a lot of sunlight. The more sunlight, the better for sight fishing.
If you had sunlight and a slick, calm day, it's absolutely the best. That's the best. They won't have that. They won't see that, but that doesn't mean you can't catch them.
But at the same time, they're still catching these females because those females will move up in those warm nights. That's the key. If you have those warm nights, those females still want to move up, and the males will still find them. The males will bring the females up to the bed, and then you got a pair of fish, big fish, on a bed together.
Well, guys, we've talked about the top prize, $500,000. Second place, $45,000. So there's a difference of $455,000 between first and second. You don't want to be second best here. 50 of the anglers here are chasing one guy.
Pretty much just untouchable. He's just got the fire. He is a fishing machine.
He is the best angler ever that has walked the face of the earth.
As long as he fishes, he will be one of the best out there.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the Citgo Bassmaster Classic is brought to you by Citgo and in part by Lowrance Electronics, Berkeley, and Triton Boats.
We're still very early in day one, the weigh-in underway, and there's a look at your current leaders. But guys, of course, out there waiting to bring in their catches. A lot of the big names as the 2006 Citgo Bassmaster Classic is underway. And of course, if you'd like more information on anything Citgo Bassmaster Classic-wise, you want to follow along with real-time weigh-ins, go to Bassmaster.com. You can find all of the latest information right there. Now let's go down to the floor and Ron Franklin. Ron?
Okay, Jay. You know, defending champion of the Classic, Kevin VanDam, is truly an amazing young guy. He has won the Classic twice. He probably is as exemplary as any champion that this tour has had, and he's proven and earned the respect of his fellow competitors because to represent this tour the way he does is extremely important to him. Now, the odd thing about VanDam, he comes from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which is cold country. But how could a guy who comes from that part of the world be as hot as he is right now? You see, what he's done in the last year is almost impossible to explain because Kevin has won 3 back-to-back-to-back BASS major events, which simply makes him the hottest professional bass angler today.
Nobody can get inside of his mind, and he lives in a lot of other people's head free of rent.
He's multiple Classic winner now. He's multiple Angler of the Year winner. He's multiple Tour winner. He's our Tiger Woods.
You know, a lot of people think that he's maybe a little cocky, but man, he can back it up as good as anybody, so I don't call it being cocky. I love to win, no doubt. We all, you know, fight and work hard to win, but more importantly, I hate to lose. If you're going to be successful in this sport at the top level, as competitive as it is, You have to truly love it. You have to live it, breathe it. You have to be obsessed with it. I haven't lost that obsession, and I don't think I will anytime soon. Winning the Classic is second to nothing else. I don't go anywhere now without getting recognized. I was at a Bass Pro store opening in Denver, Colorado, and John Elway came up to me and said, "Man, that was an awesome Classic." He said, "You did a great job." He said, "That was really exciting to watch." John Elway watched the Bassmasters Classic. I hadn't won an event since 2001, and then in 2005, bang, 3 in a row.
Not only is he the best fisherman, but he's also on a roll. And there's nothing worse for the competition than when you get the best fisherman on a hot streak.
Perfection can be accomplished in this sport. We've all experienced it for little short times, but not a Tiger Woods type dominance.
I was real fortunate in 2005 to win the last 2 Elite 50s, be able to go take it to Pittsburgh and win there too in the Bassmasters Classic. I've got a shot to really make history here, and believe me, I'm not taking that shot lightly.
He's the only man on the field with a chance to win 4 straight major bass wins. The 2005 Bassmaster Classic champion, Kevin VanDam! KVD, Kevin VanDam, trying to get the job done out here. You've got an opportunity to do something nobody else in this field has to do. KVD, how was the day?
Oh, it was a little tougher than I expected. You know, it was a perfect fishing day with the wind and the clouds and stuff, and I had to do a lot of adjusting today. I finally kind of figured it out, but I just didn't have much time at the end, and so we'll see tomorrow.
We've talked about this time and time again. Day 1 is not the day to lead. 19-3 leads the tournament right now. 14-2 on the scales right there. That eclipses your 3-day wait in Pittsburgh. We're talking completely different fisheries here. But Kevin, you really are in a rare position. Nobody has done it. Nobody's won 4 Bass Tour level events in a row, and we're talking majors. For those who don't know, of course, you were the 2001 Classic, and I won't call it a dry spell because you were always in the hunt. You won back-to-back Elite Series, and of course, you rounded out last season, back-to-back Elite 50 wins, and then of course, the Classic, the momentum. How important is it?
Oh, it's definitely a big deal, and you know, I came in expecting to have a really good day today. I had a good practice day on Wednesday, and I just didn't make the right adjustments, but I did kind of figure it out. And what it does is it means that I've got to really catch him tomorrow. You know, the weather's going to change each day. I learned some of the right things today, and you know, I do have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity here, and I don't plan on letting it slip by. I'm going for it tomorrow. I know where there's some big fish at. Hopefully tomorrow I can get them in the boat.
Well, let's have a listen to your day on the water.
Say this is what we live for. First day of the Bassmasters Classic. There's a lot of people with a lot of nerves right now, but I'm telling you, I'm stoked. The weather is perfect. These are the conditions that I couldn't have scripted it any better for this. So now it's just up to me.
All right, now what's going on here?
Snatching them in the boat.
Getting the party started at this point.
You know.
Now, was this part of the A plan, or were you already on plan B?
No, this is where I started in the morning, and you know, I got a few bites real quick, but it just they weren't the right size, you know, and it just really didn't go the way that I wanted to. So that was a bad deal right there.
This lake absolutely loaded with cover. How do you go about dissecting it and figuring out what's the right kind?
Well, the fish are doing a lot of different things right now. Some of the fish are up spawning. A lot of the ones, the big fish, are done spawning. They're kind of hanging outside just a little bit deeper, and that's what I tried to target today. And you know, it should have been the perfect day to throw a spinner bait or a buzz bait or some kind of moving bait and catch these fish, but it really wasn't for me. I couldn't get them to eat it. I got to find the right clarity of the water to do it, and you know, I had to fish real slow, and that's not my style. You know, I was fishing like Larry Nixon slow today.
I know that's not an old joke, but man, you're on the board, you're in striking distance, and tomorrow's another day. Awesome job, but we're taking it right back upstairs.
I'll be back.
All right, Keith, thank you very much. Somewhat ironic that his day 1 total here is actually more than his 3-day winning total was last year in Pittsburgh, and he's disappointed by his day one. Let's take a look at some more video from Kevin VanDam day one, and then we'll dissect it a little bit, guys.
Let's take a look at this.
Flip in or top water, something that has a lot of action, stays in the strike zone for a long time is a good bait when it's like this.
You know, Kevin talked about it being just really slow, and he does hate to slow down. I mean, he is a fast fisherman, but here in Florida, you've got to fish slow, and you've got so many things going on. You got post-spawn, fish that have already spawned.
And here, Shaw, I mean, he's making multiple casts to the same spot.
Exactly.
That fish finally got fired up, and that's a trick to learn for everybody. Make multiple casts quickly to the same spot to try to catch that fish that missed your bait.
Right.
Throw back in there again and again, because that fish will come back. Even if you got a hook in him, he'll come back and go after it again.
Yeah, and that's
Shaw,
just
you
awesome.
said it's important to fish slowly. You tried driving that home yesterday. Why is it so important that you fish these waters slow?
Florida fish are just a little bit different. I mean, they're just a different animal. That, you know, they're used to really, really warm temperatures and all that, and they're just a little bit more sluggish, a little bit more, you know, methodical about their attack.
Well, over the last 5 years, there's a bit of a trend developing for the defending champs. They come back and they tend to struggle a little bit. Let's take a look at your last 5 Classic champions. And clearly, you can see 3 of the 5 failed to make the cut into the final day. Will that continue for Kevin VanDam? He certainly is looking for a better day 2 here at the 2006 Citgo Bassmaster Classic tomorrow. And guys, now let's take a look at the standings so far. Anything jump out? What is it?
2 West Side, guys.
West Coast on top, but look in there. You know, you got George Cochran under, but VanDam is still in a good shot.
Much more from day 1 of the weigh-ins at the Bassmaster Classic right after this.
It's a tricky one.
Toho Palikia.
I like Toho Palikia. Toho Palikia.
Toho pickup. I know there's more to it than it's Toho.
What do you think it is?
Hopo Kalaya. Toho Pega. Tohoka. Tohoka.
It's a long word.
Toho.
Toha, blah, 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 and I can't pronounce it.
I'd like to know. I'd like to hear somebody say it.
I think it's Toho Palaka.
Toho Kilapa, I think.
Toho Pika.
Toho Kalaga.
Damn!
Toho Kalaga.
Toho Palaka.
I like that. Don't ask me how to spell it.
I'm still struggling with the English language, and you asked me to have a big word like that.
No, I just know Toho. I'll stick with Toho.
Nice try, guys, and Davey Height is exactly right. That's the reason we all simply call it Lake Toho. Speaking of how you pronounce things, do you know Aaron Martens? Now, we all know Roland Martens, synonymous with professional bass fishing, but this is Aaron Martens, M-A-R-T-E-N-S. Well, he happens to be the runner-up of last year's Classic. And in fact, he was the runner-up the year prior to that. And if you go back 4 years, he was the runner-up then as well. So the question here today, could he possibly be the bridesmaid 4 times? He certainly hopes not.
We all have the ability to catch fish. It's just staying calm and focused. Focus is 100%. If you lose your focus, you're done. I mean, you're toast. Kind of excited and kind of like bummed out. I was kind of happy I got second, but really bummed it's like got second again. It's like, how many seconds can one guy get consecutively? I didn't think it was possible. I just had a bad tournament, really, to tell you the truth. I lost more fish than I ever have, and I actually hooked fish and lost them, so I should have won it, but that's fishing, you know? Fishing's like that. I've been first place loser 3 years in a row. In second place, you don't get hardly anything for it. You get a lot of coverage and stuff, but you can't use it for sponsorship. You can't say you're, Classic winner 05, or you can't use any of that. You're not. You're first place loser.
I think it's really important. Jordan and I are with Aaron on the road. Aaron's a different kind of person. He needs that support system behind him. If Aaron won the Classic, I think it would be a confirmation of his talents.
It'd be nice if I did win it. I feel like I've done something incredible. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, though.
Here comes your 2005 Citgo Bassmaster Angler of the Year from Leeds, Alabama, Aaron Martens. He lives in Alabama now, but make no mistake about it, this is a West Coast angler, and he has as good a chance as anybody to take a win out here. Aaron Martens hoping for an opportunity to shake this second place curse this week. Come on, Aaron. Talk to me, brother. How was the day?
It was a tough day, I gotta admit. It wasn't as good as I thought, but we had a lot of wind and a lot of dark, you know, it was real dark. There was no light coming through the clouds, and it was real hard to see.
Hard to sight fish when you have the overcast skies.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do, and I caught some bed fish, but I ended up just fishing, catch most of these fish, and I really want to see them. I figure I could get 20 to 30 pounds if I could see them, but you can't. Today it was so dark today, you couldn't see 2 feet into the water. It was black.
How about it? 15 pounds and an ounce gets you started here on day number 1. That ties you for 5th place on the opening day. You know, Aaron, a lot of guys have been watching you fish on TV over the past couple of years, and we see you finesse fishing, light line and shaky head worms, spinning rods. None of that gear in the boat here this week. We're taking a look at the video here today as you head out. Long run early on?
No, it was pretty close.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're fishing in Toho at that point.
Yeah.
And what was the plan early on? You wanted to sight fish?
Well, I had a few fish I was going to start on, but one of them was like 4 feet deep, and I couldn't see it. And I missed some fish, and I missed probably half the fish I got bit by today. That one bit with 6-8 feet of line out. I figured something out there, but
right
I
by
want
the
to talk
boat.
about that. Yeah.
And shook off right in the boat.
Yeah, that was cool. Just fishing, just fishing around. Did you get that? You like my hat?
You're looking stylish.
Now this one was this is godsend. I mean, I missed this fish, and she exploded on it.
Dude, I like the pose though. You struck the pose right there.
Well, you should have seen the explosion. It was like somebody threw a toilet bowl in the water. Just, I wasn't looking. I was looking for bedfish when she bit. And I flipped back in there, and I guess they're going to show that probably. But I didn't see it. I was looking down. I just heard this big splash. I looked up. My bait's doing a twirl. I'm like, oh my God, that was a big one. That wasn't a free. But this is very rare. This is extremely rare to come back and actually catch one like that. I was very excited about this one. And she just bit the back hook. I mean, there was no splash. Just barely got it. And I knew she barely had it. And it was a battle. That was about 5.5, but.
Well, sight fishing, you said, was your plan coming into this, knowing that the weather's deteriorating, and today was probably your best opportunity at that. Yeah. How will you adjust tomorrow?
Do more of this. I'm doing something different here, which I don't want a lot of guys to figure out, but I didn't do it very much, and I got some good fish on it.
You're off to a good start. You sit in 5th place with 15 pounds and an ounce. Congratulations. Good luck to you. We take it right back up to Jay.
Right, Thank you.
So about a dozen of the anglers have weighed in here on day number 1 of the 2006 Bassmaster Classic. Some of those having hot days. How about Ish Monroe fishing in his 3rd Classic, the West Coaster, having a better than average day. Davey Height, a veteran, 12th Classic for him, the 99 champion, in with more than 20 pounds. And Kevin Worth, the former Kentucky Derby jockey, setting a new 1-day 5-fish record, 22 pounds in the boat. And here's a complete list of the standings so far as we continue our day 1 weigh-in coverage from the 2006 Citgo Bassmaster Classic.
That big old girl came home. Yeah.
We told you records would fall, and so far they have. Mark Tucker, the former bodybuilder, with that catch on his final cast, 9 pounds, 12 ounces. The single biggest bass caught in Bassmaster Classic history. Also the single day record, also already broken, 22 pounds by the former Kentucky Derby jockey, Kevin Worth. How long will these records last? Don't forget, $500,000 up for grabs. That's the first place prize. Second place fishes for $45,000. Bassmaster Classic coverage continues tomorrow. We have a full day of action coming your way beginning at 7 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2. It's Bass Center. Following Bass Center, catch live day coverage of the Classic at 8 o'clock on ESPN2, which wraps up with Bass Center again at 11 o'clock. Then we are back on ESPN at 4:30 for weigh-in day 2. As we go to break, the current standings, day 1 weigh-ins at the 2006 Citgo Bassmaster Classic. More weigh-ins right after these messages.
Welcome back, everybody, to the first day weigh-in of the 2006 Citgo Bassmaster Classic here in the state of Florida. You know, normally this tournament is fished in the heat of the summer in July. Now it's been moved to February.
I've heard it all year. It is starting, you know, classic in the winter. Is it good? Is it bad? Hey, as long as we're moving forward, it's all good.
I compare it to the Daytona 500 in NASCAR. You know, we're starting with our biggest event.
Yes. You better be on your A game when you get here and not ease into it.
The fishermen are pretty set in their ways. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, change is fun at times. There's always things to be excited about, and I think the excitement here is a chance of catching a really big fish.
Yes!
It's kind of hard to get in the classic mode because usually we have 3 or 4 months to think about it. And this time we haven't had the time to get prepared for it.
I ain't scared to change. If this is what it takes to go to the next level, let's fish it whenever. But I think it's going to be different. It's going to offer the fans a new look, and it's going to offer the fishermen a chance to fish at a different time of year besides when it's just burning hot.
We're going to hit a time of the year right now when most people are cold and they can't go fishing. So what's the next best thing to do? That's watch it.
This is the Daytona 500 and the Super Bowl all wrapped into one right here.
And what we've seen so far today, the move back to the month of February and putting it at the beginning of the season is certainly a success. You know, one of the most impressive young guys and also very popular young guys on this tour is a young fellow by the name of Mark Menendez. Well, just a year ago, he was diagnosed with viral meningitis. It affects your spinal cord and also your brain. Well, obviously, his career was threatened. Most importantly, his life was threatened. But now, a year later, his struggle to get back to the Bassmaster Classic has been a struggle, but it also has been quite an inspiration.
You ready to catch one? That's what I thought. It's been a while since we've been out here together. We didn't know there for a while if we were ever going to get to do this again, but it sure is nice to be up here where we belong. The illness kind of caught me off guard. I was at Guntersville at a tour event. I called my wife Donna and said, hey, I'm on the ground, I'm safe, but I've got a headache like I've never had. We called my dermatologist, and he asked her to perform a couple of simple tests, and he could hear me screaming in the background. Said, Donna, take him to the hospital and tell them he has meningitis. Go now, don't waste any time. During the initial stages of being in the hospital in Alabama, it killed me. The headaches were intense during that time period, and you just don't have any strength to amount to anything. There's my daughter, Caroline. We've got another child coming. I'm going to have to get well so that I can provide a means so that I can raise my children. My first event back was in West Point in Alabama. Not really ready to compete, was worn out, actually took a day off of practice because I was just so tired, and things fell into place perfectly. The first day of the tournament, I was in 3rd place. Second day, I was leading it. And the last day, I caught enough fish to win the event by 7 pounds. And that was the confidence I'd been lacking due to my illness. I didn't know if I'd ever get to do this again, but by winning that tournament, it put me into high gear saying, you know, hey, you still got it in you. It's just an awesome feeling to have qualified again. It means so much to a fisherman. That's how we gain our credibility, our stature within the business.
From what we've been through, fishing doesn't really make that much of a difference in life, but he loves it. And for him to win the Classic would be a dream come true.
After dropping out of the season with meningitis, a long road to recovery, his first tournament back is a tournament win. Qualifying through the Open Championships, put it together for Mark Menendez. What an incredible story. So good to have you back, brother.
I'm back, Keith. I'm back.
I know you're back. I know you weren't feeling well this morning, but I'm glad to see you here with a smile on your face and a bag poking out of the live well. Reach in and grab it and show us how the day went.
Well, let's go over here first.
Oh, you got something over here? Oh, in live well number 2. because there wasn't room in live well number 1.
I'm back, folks. I'm back.
A big old mouth.
All right.
That's the way to come back to the Classic.
That bite stopped the whole world today. I promise you, Keith.
And there's more to go along with it.
Yes, sir. We've got 5.
You got 5. You've got your limit of bass. You have had a phenomenal story. Incredible highs and incredible lows, to say the least. You pull out of the season with meningitis, scared us all and your family, I'm sure. A long road to recovery, and then you come back. Your daughter's born. How have you been feeling at this point?
Well, it's been a tough road. I've been sick here this week. A little bug got a hold of me, but that big old fish snapped me right out of it right now.
How about 17 pounds even?
Yes.
That is what you call a Mark Menendez vitamin right there. Makes you feel real good when you get onto the big bass. Well, let's take a look at the day on the water and see how you caught some of these fish. You started out today, was it a long run or did you stay close?
I started real close, Keith. I just started fishing and 8-8. Wow, I'm amazed that fish is that big. But I started fishing and caught a fish pretty quick, and just kind of got the day started. And I just kind of pecked around all day. One here and one there. And I had a heart monitor on me for part of ESPN's coverage here. And when the young man came to get the equipment this afternoon, he said, "What happened about 12 o'clock?" I said, "A 7-pounder." I was wrong. It was an 8-8.
That's pretty funny. We got telemetry on you, and we can see exactly what's going on throughout the day. Here we are again, targeting out. Looks like you're in shallow water at this point. Of course, all these lakes are pretty shallow, but are you seeing some fish?
No, I'm not, Keith. I'm not seeing any at all. The wind started blowing a little bit. That was my first keeper of the morning. I introduced him to a Strike King spinnerbait right off the bat. Here we go. I think this is the big fish. I changed my area, and it just took a little while, and there we go. We were off and running.
Come here, hog. Oh, that's a giant.
Just loaded with grass. That thing came out of some heavy vegetation.
He sure did, and I'm glad the grass got on him, and there we go. Woo, that's the right kind.
Does the grass actually pin him to the hook a little bit in that case?
It sure did. It pinned that old big fish right there, had it on her face, and she had that SG Toad, a new bait from Strike King. It's the only bite I got on it all day, and I'm going to throw it again tomorrow and see if I can't catch her sister.
Dude, we're awfully proud to have you back. A hand for Mark Menendez. We'll see you tomorrow, and we're going to send it right back.
Thank you so much.
So here are the standings on day 1 from the great state of Florida, as Kissimmee is the battleground. Keith Worth with 22 pounds, 5 ounces. Then Davey Height, former winner down in New Orleans. Ish Monroe, Dean Rojas, along with Mark Menendez. And the second group on page number 2, some big names there as well. Defending champion Kevin VanDam, 14 pounds and 2 ounces. Jay Ellis, another defending champion, in 13th. We'll be back with more in a moment.
One-day total record has fallen again for the second time today. Edwin Evers with a one-day catch, 23 pounds, 10 ounces. Let's take a look now at the Toyota rules to the game.
Hi, I'm Mike Iaconelli.
Hi, I'm Chad Morgan-Taylor. Hi, I'm Ish Monroe, and these are the rules of the game. The world's best anglers compete
In the 2006 Citgo Bassmaster Classic.
3 days of competition.
3 days of cracking the whip
On Lake Kissimmee,
Lake Toho,
Lake Hatchinaha.
Lake Cypress.
It's a catch and release tournament.
You're allowed to keep 5 bass a day.
Day 2 is elimination day.
The top 25 qualify to fish the 3rd and final round.
The angler with the heaviest weight
We'll be your 2006
Citgo Bassmasters Classic World Champion.
And $500,000, of course, is on the line for the winner of this tournament. Of course, it is, as they said, a 3-day event. 51 competitors will whittle that down to 25 that will hit the waters for the final day. And, of course, the 5 fish per day limit. Edwin Evers married just last fall, his first classic since becoming a husband. Guys, what kind of fisherman is he? What's his technique?
He likes flipping and pitching a jig. That's one of his strong suits. So I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't catch that big stringer flipping.
Flipping the deep stuff, going into heavy cover and just taking a bait and pitching it in the nastiest chunk you can find, taking your lure and putting it deep in the stuff. And let's look at that like Scroggins. Scroggins does the same thing. Right here we got some video.
He's one of the best Florida flippers we have is Terry Scroggins.
Absolutely. He's one of the guys that likes to go out and made the name of flipping that big heavy weight in that heavy cover. Scroggins likes to take big weights, small baits, and flip it in the junkiest stuff you can find.
What's the advantage to flipping?
The advantage is there's no wasted time. It's all very efficient. See that green mat in there? You got all these lily pads, but look where the fish comes out of. That heavy, heavy vegetation back in there. It's real, real solid, just like this. All the lily pads with the heavy vegetation, and literally you could almost walk on this. It's so thick.
And once you put that bait in there, you're going to let it sink to the bottom, but their fish just aren't on the bottom sometimes. You're going to yo-yo that thing up and down underneath there, just like this. That bait's going to be down. Those fish like to get up under there and look up and wait for anything to fall out of that heavy grass.
And there's so many bits and pieces of food up there for them, from crawfish to little eels to worms and stuff that lay up in that stuff. They just suck it when it comes
and they're just waiting for an opportunity, and that's what that flipping technique gives you, is that opportunity for those fish to attack something that they otherwise wouldn't see.
Exactly right.
All right, the day one weigh-ins continue, and let's go down to Keith Allen. He's standing by on the stage with another weigh-in. Keith?
What do you say? Put it together for the 2004 Angler of the Year, the G-Man cometh, Gerald Swindle! Talk to me, brother. Tell me something good.
Show you something good. I don't think I'm hot. Show you something good.
What have we here?
We have what is better known as a butt whooping, I think is what they give me today. You know, I don't know. I don't get a lot of help. I don't talk to a lot of guys outside of Marty Stone, and this is one of them whippings that I never seen coming. I never had a clue what was fixing to happen. I kind of felt like I've been fighting George Foreman blindfolded all day. I just didn't really know which hand they was hitting me with. I just knew it kept hurting a lot.
8 pounds, 10 ounces. You got a big cheering section out here in front. I hope that takes some of the pain away.
That's all that really matters right there.
Well, let's take a look at you on the water. You can take us through it a little bit.
This is the Zoom.
This is pretty much just how it went. Frog. Just a lot of meditation, a lot of words. Oh, I think I've got one. See, mine's only not 9 pounds. I just don't really figure out. I thought I was at Pittsburgh or something instead of those little ones to win.
Yeah, they reel in too fast.
Well, I kept noticing that, you know, but I really knew they was going to catch them somewhere today. Oh, there's one. What if I got myself here? I think it's a bass. It's just not big enough. I kept having this problem repeated times. Oh, that was right in your face. I didn't actually mean to hit the guy beside the head. I was just a little fired up. You know, this is a 3-day deal. It's only 1 day down, and we got to come back somehow. See, they want me to bring it home for Alabama. Alabama's going to keep swinging, guys, I promise you. It just may not be this one, but, oh, I've got it. Can you believe I just caught 3 since we've been standing here?
You're fast. You went quick.
Where was that at all day when I was out there? That don't explain the other 8 hours I was throwing.
Just like to mess like a little bit.
Well, Swindle, off to a start, but not the start you're looking for. You've got 2 more days to turn it around, and I know a lot of people here would love to see you do it, myself included. How about a hand for Gerald Swindle, and we send it right back up top to the boys.
Well, you know you're always going to get entertainment with Gerald Swindle. Not the size of day one that he wanted, but still, he'll be back to try again tomorrow and day 2. As we look at the leaderboard, guys,
giant stringers
up there.
Right, Edwin Evers, great fisherman up there setting the records. We're setting a lot of records.
Oh, records are going quick. And look at this right in the middle of the pack. Aaron Martens, Angler of the Year, right there tied with George Cochran. The weights are still close. Nothing like Pittsburgh, but a lot of close weights. But those big fish are swarming everywhere. A lot of blowouts. Go ahead, sir.
You know, one thing about Florida, even these guys down here on the lower end, like Timmy Horton, there's so many big fish. He catches 2 or 3, boom, he's right at the top.
Well, we've got a lot to go on day 1 weigh-ins. You know you always get controversy with Mike Iaconelli. Find out what has him screaming mad at day 1 as the weigh-ins continue from the 2006 Bassmaster Classic.
Rick Clunn has always been a superstar ever since I was a kid.
And I don't see how he can continue at his age and being accomplished as many things as he has accomplished to drive like he does.
All you have to do is lay out his records, and you'll see that he's one of the best of all time.
Rick Clunn is just one of the, the icons of the sport.
Rick doesn't have to fish another day to prove anything to anybody. He fishes because he loves his sport.
Rick Clunn, the Jack Nicklaus, if you will, of bass fishing, the only man to win 4 Bassmaster Classics, the only man to win back-to-back classics. Byron Velvick, Shaw Grigsby, you guys know him well. How about a story?
I think everybody's got a Rick Clunn story.
Absolutely.
I know you got a good one, too. Mine started when I was just in college. I drew Rick Clunn in college in a tournament. He's the reason I became a professional bass fisherman. Such an inspiration. But at that tournament in particular, I went out there with him, and I said, I don't even have a boat, Mr. Clunn. I drew you, and he goes, I'm not a fish. I guess we're going to take your boat instead. I'm like, I had to go with him in his boat, and I just learned so much from the guy. He's a mentor. Awesome. He was a guide. He's the reason I chose to fish for a living.
Yeah, I got paired with him at Megabucks in Florida, and I'm catching him pretty good as the second day of the tournament. And he walks up to me and he says, you're catching him. I'll go with you. And I went, wow, that's awesome. He shows up in the morning with this little duffel bag, had his rain suit and stuff in there, and I said, well, where's your tackle? He just brought a couple rods, this little duffel bag. He pulls out a baggie, and he wore me out all day long with a baggie with a couple baits in there, and he just beat me like a drum. But he's so awesome. You learn so much with one day with him. It's like a lifetime of fishing.
Everything he needs to catch the big ones right here.
There.
59 years young, still loving what he does. For more now on Rick Clunn, let's go downstairs to Ron Franklin. Ron?
Thanks, Jay. I've known him for years. In fact, we used to do a fishing show together, and I'll tell you, we used to sit on his back porch in Montgomery, Texas, and dream about the day when we might get coverage of the 3-day weigh-ins for the Bassmaster Classic. Night before last, he stopped me at a dinner and said, our dreams have been surpassed.
Winning the Classic 4-time really represents to me one of my biggest goals, and that was to exceed at a high level over many years. It's my second Bassmaster Classic win in 1977. Was on this lake, but it was in November. My intention was to go south through the lock, leave Toho, and go into Lake Kissimmee. It was so foggy, I circled and circled, and finally I knew I was wasting time. It's the first grass line I come to, I'm going to stop and start fishing, let the fog lift. And that's where I ended up winning the Classic. My third or fourth cast, I caught a 7-pounder. None of us really caught fish. I actually won, not because I fished best, because I fished the least worst of anybody. It's probably the only tournament I will admit to in my career that I lucked out. So maybe it'll get foggy this tournament.
Last year, he was voted the greatest angler of all time, competing in his 30th, count 'em, 30th Bassmaster Classic, the Zen Master, Rick Clunn. RC, you're mic'd up. Talk to me, man. Talk to me. Tell me how your day was. Oh, a little something in live well number 2 for us? Rick won a classic on this body of water, catching big bass. Were they this big? Oh my goodness. You gotta be kidding me. Hello, good looking. Oh my.
Here, I'll take the back. I gotta get 2-handed.
That's a 2-hander right there. Oh, you weren't fishing anywhere near Preston Clark by chance, were you?
Robbers, side by side.
Were you?
Those were made, so I just have to catch the other one.
Well, I believe you guys are in the right neighborhood right here. Look at that giant in there. Rick Clunn, already in the record books multiple times. How about 20 pounds, 12 ounces, and Rick Clunn moves to the top 5? Yes. We're going to get a weight on this giant right here. We got to see what that weighs. Our Pure Later Big Bass is on the boards with 11-pound 10-ouncer that Preston Clark put on the scales not too long ago. We're going to see what this fish weighs, and then we are going to see all about it.
About 10.
How about 10 pounds, 10 ounces on the button right there? Off to a good start, Rick. Let's take a look at the action on the water with Rick Clunn.
Yeah, this was the biggest fish I've ever caught on a spinnerbait. I've caught a 13-15 in a tournament and a 12-8 in a BASS tournament. But That's not the fish, obviously. All right, she goes very patient. But
unless it grew.
Right. And that's not the fish, obviously. No, see how those fish are shaking? When I catch him, I'm shaking about that much. She was a real horse. I caught her on a half-ounce spinnerbait. I was bed fishing, but in between bed fishing, I was actually working in a pony toe type bait in a spinnerbait, and this big fish was in between beds and hit the spinnerbait.
Well, Rick, you had said that you're going to have to adjust throughout the week, and you also said that with a lot of guys trying to sight fish, that you might use that opportunity today, which would be the better weather day. And that is the hog that comes in on a spinnerbait. Are there more of that size in that neighborhood?
You know there are in this lake. Somebody asked me if Ricky Green's Fletcher's going to be broken. I said it's probably going to be broken 3 or 4 times a day.
Yeah, we're already up to 4 or 5 at this point.
I'll quit doing that. Quit fishing.
When is the last time that a fish made you shake like that?
Oh, sometimes it's not a big fish. Sometimes it can just be a fish you know that's won the tournament for you. It could be as simple as a 12-incher. But, you know, I've only caught, that's the biggest fish I've ever caught on a spinnerbait. I caught on a worm one time, a 13-15, and then in a BASS tournament, I caught on a DD22, a 12-8 on Rayburn. So anytime you catch one that big, you really don't know how big they are until you grab them. And you start to pick them up, just like I did in the boat, and you realize I ain't big enough, man, to pick it up with one hand. So you reach down, you got to get it with another. So
when they fight back, you know you got a hold on. We are awfully proud of you. A hand for Rick Clunn. Okay. Thank you so much, Rick. We'll see you tomorrow. Rick Clunn, ladies and gentlemen.
Half of his day one catch. One fish, a 10-pound, 10-ounce lunker. And now, as you look at the standings, he's right there. Here's a guy who's won 4 times and still shakes when he catches the big one.
How awesome was that excitement? Was he excited over that big fish? Let's look at what he was doing today. I think, you know, in Florida, you have to do a lot of different things.
Yeah, you know, you're mixing it up here. And like he said, he was throwing all kinds of stuff. Look at this. He's throwing a topwater right here. That's actually a chugger, a topwater bait. Shaw, we're seeing a lot of stuff here.
Exactly. He'll topwater, he'll worm, he'll spinnerbait. He's doing it all. But, buddy, that biggin'.
Oh, you know what? He's versatile. He's versatile. He's going to throw it all. And like you said, in between bedfish, he's mixing it up. Going to go down a bank, and what do you know? Hello, Big Daddy.
But Big Daddy. Excitement was awesome. When you see Rick Clunn shaking when he catches a toad like that. Look at this.
You know this is something special to have it on video?
The master.
Now, how about this, guys? When Rick Clunn won his first Classic in 1977, here's some of the ages of our other anglers in the field. Mike Iaconelli, only 5 years old.
That's why he's a guide and a mentor to so many people, an inspiration, because he is a legend in the sport.
He is so awesome, and he's what gets most of us excited about the sport.
And he still clearly has that youthful enthusiasm that so many of the younger guys have, hands shaking after the 10-pound, 10-ounce bass.
Speaking
Here's a look now at our standings.
Weights, though. Unbelievable. The weights in the first. Even these guys on the second page here would all won the Classic in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely.
Every one of these weights is bigger than the biggest.
VanDam down on the bottom at 19th. Boy, that's really strange. Jay Yellis, a past Classic champion, down on the bottom, too. Gary Klein.
And David Walker. He was one of my top 5 picks. David Walker just had, tough times for a lot of these guys.
The anglers aren't the only one catching big bass, guys. Take a look at this.
Is that not incredible?
This
right
is what we
there.
like to call this our office. This is our office, and you get to see that out in nature. What an experience.
And that's Toho. I mean, Toho has tons of eagles. Awesome.
Our Bassmaster Classic coverage continues tomorrow, a full day of action. It starts at 7 a.m. with Bass Center, and then live action. Of course, we're back on ESPN at 4:30 for weigh-in day number 2. The records continue to fall. Preston Clark, one of 2 Florida anglers in the field. How about this? 29 pounds, 1 ounce. And that was just surpassed by Luke Clausen. So it's a perhaps East Coast, West Coast rival as Clausen weighs in 29 pounds, 6 ounces. Guys, I know you love the East Coast, West Coast feud. What's going on here?
Florida boy, Preston Clark, local from Palatka, knows his stuff. He's fished here all the time with Terry Scroggins as a team partner.
Can you believe that?
He's won a lot of money on this lake, so he's odds on. He's going to have a good shot.
But now we're representing West Side in the house. You knew I was going to throw it out there. I got the chance. Luke Lawson, youngest guy out there. One of these guys that's one of the most versatile anglers because he's young, he's hungry. He's been reading his Bassmaster magazine. He's been doing his Bass Insider. He came up learning on the internet how to fish. This guy has all the techniques, all the tactics down. He is a versatile angler, and this is not uncommon for him to be in a position of doing this well in a big tournament. He's done it before.
He's a winner.
Preston Clark, a great story, sold insurance for 16 years before getting here. All right, let's take a look at one of the records we've been talking about throughout our coverage here. Ricky Green. This is a record, guys, that stood for 30 years. Here on day one, that record has already been surpassed 3 times.
Wow.
All 3 of these anglers. This reminds me of the summer of 1998. You had Roger Maris's home run record of 61 in a season, stood for 37 years, and then bang, McGuire and Sosa break it all in the same season. 11-10 now. Wendell Clark, that's holding up. Preston Clark, rather, holding up as the biggest bass in Bassmaster Classic history. Guys, what jumps out at you as you look at the leaderboard?
Youngest man on top, Luke Clausen, and then right behind him, Florida boy. So we have a lot going on.
And another young guy right after that, Edwin Evers. We got a great seating field, but look at the weights. The weights are astounding.
Yeah.
This is a classic to remember. Look at this. It's a toe fest out there, Sean.
But what's really good is in Florida, even these guys like Mark Menendez that are back a little bit, Marty Stone in 17, Skeet Reese, they're all in the game.
Aaron Martin's Angler of the Year. There's a dogfight going on. All the guys in the back are capable of doing it with one big fish, and there's a lot of them out there.
And they may need 2 tomorrow because you know they're going to keep going. But check this out. Terry Scroggins, odds-on favorite, 36th place.
Surprise.
Really
David Walker, one of my picks to pick, didn't do it. Chad Brower, Kerry Klein. These are big upsets right now.
The top 21 guys with their day one total already surpassing the winning total from last year's Classic in Pittsburgh. Still to come in our day one weigh-ins, he's number 6 on GQ's most hated athletes list, Mike Iaconelli.
Thinking about one thing this week, baby. First place. My eye is on the prize. Look at these eyes, dude. Look at these eyes. I'm ready. You see these eyes? I'm hungry. I want it, man. I want revenge for Pittsburgh, baby. Revenge.
Welcome back to the day one weigh-ins of the 2006 Citgo Bassmaster Classic. Records have fallen, and you can bet they will continue to fall as the tournament goes on. Well, there's no denying, love him or hate him, 2003 Bassmaster Classic champion Mike Iaconelli has changed the face of the sport of bass fishing.
Being an SI was an awesome opportunity. When I was a kid, I imagined I could sit back and say, man, how about the day when there's a fishing guide in SI? Wouldn't that be amazing when a mainstream sports publication recognizes fishing? And it happened, you know, it was reality, and I'm real proud of it. My thoughts on the GQ listing, best way I can describe it, mixed emotions. A mainstream, non-fishing related publication like GQ says fishing's a sport and fishermen are athletes. That is what I love about the article. You know, the hate it thing, I've got mixed emotions about that. The way I looked at it is I saw these guys making some comments that are my heroes. And a guy like Bernie Schultz, I mean, I've actually looked at Bernie over the years and have modeled myself after Bernie, you know what I mean? And I looked at him and I said, wow. So to a lot of those guys that want to put me in a box, I say, look at some of the positive things I'm doing. I'm passionate about the sport, I love fishing, and I'm doing things to help grow the sport. If people know that and they still don't like me, I can't do anything about it.
Seconds of mayhem. 1, 2, 3, light it up, people. The 2003 Citgo Bassmaster Classic champion, it's time to go Ike for Michael Iaconelli. Team Toyota in the house with Mike Iaconelli. Oh yeah. Iaconelli, we have seen some big fish come across the scales here today. You've got any big fish today? Any big fish today?
I have 5 fish today.
Look at that. You got 5 fish, and you have a bigger crowd than you have fish. Now, let's talk fish care penalties. Throughout the day, we have seen a couple of fish care penalties, and just so you know, we're looking at 11 pounds and 9 ounces assessed after your total has been weighed. The way that we do that, 4 ounces for the first expired fish. A second fish would be a 6-ounce penalty, so 2 fish would take 10 ounces away from your weight. A third expired fish would be, well, another 8 ounces on top of that. We're looking at 2 expired fish here, which is a tough deal for you, Ike, because this is a tournament where you really need every ounce and every pound you can get out here. What happened today?
I had a tough day. I mean, I caught a ton of fish. This is an amazing lake, you know, and I had a good pattern, a strong pattern. I fished hard and just never got the big bite, you know, and but this is Florida, and you can make it up real quick, you know, and so I've got another day to go out tomorrow. Some of those guys proved what you could do here, and I could very easily go out and do that tomorrow. So, you know, that's my motivations, to go out and fish hard and maybe try to catch 30 pounds tomorrow.
Were you frustrated today?
Absolutely. You know, I'm very passionate about this sport. I mean, you know, you think of fishing, you think of it as being, you know, something that's relaxing and fun, and it is those things. But I'm very competitive, and I love to win, and I hate to lose, and you know, and I'm passionate about the sport. Sometimes that comes through a little bit, you know.
When we think of Mike Iaconelli, we think of the catchphrase, never give up. What can you do to get back to that 2003 classic form?
You know, again, a lot of things have to go your way, and things have to fall into place for you to win a classic, you know, and I love it. Look at that. And, you know, I've got a couple more days ahead of me, hopefully, and I go out and fish hard and see what happens. Maybe catch 1 or 2 big ones.
Go for the Giants. Tomorrow's going to be a swing for the fences day. Congratulations on making it to another classic. Iaconelli, ladies and gentlemen, may be down, but certainly not out.
All right, Keith, so certainly some ground to cover tomorrow for Mike Iaconelli. Currently 35th place, guys. He needs to move up 10 positions if he hopes to fish on Sunday. What happened with him today?
Well, you know, he started out with a pretty good day and just didn't get the fish caught. So that just happens out here. I mean, this is a tough lake.
And you can see the frustration. Mike is hurting right now because, you know, he had great expectations. He went in thinking this was going to be it. Right now, he is in a real tough bind, having to do a lot of catching up and really focus on Giants and leave all the small ones alone.
He's going to have to swing for the fence tomorrow. He's going to have to go for Giants.
Let's take a look at Mike Iaconelli's day. As you said, it started out on a positive note.
Absolutely. He's out there and he's doing what he likes to do. I mean, he's a very versatile fisherman. He picks up his spinning rod, goes sight fishing, you know, catching a fish.
Here he goes. And look at the early morning optimism here. This guy is right now pumped. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the Mike we know.
You know, you described it perfectly when you said love him or hate him. He brings a lot to the sport, and people really like this enthusiasm that he has.
Now, his day would take a sudden turn for the worse when he had some fish care problems. Let's listen.
What's going on with you, dude? Oh, no! No! How's that? Man?
What's he doing, guys?
Well, he's hunting up for what we call rejuvenate, and it's a great solution to help these fish out. It's just perfect for these fish. It's natural ingredients to get in there and really help their slime to help bring them back. So he kind of made a mistake there with his live well.
It looks like the timers weren't on. There were no timers, no aeration. Now he's got those timers pumping. Now you see that water froth, and it's coming back to life now, but there was a dead time there. Fish were suffocating. Oh, look at this. And this, now you know, he said he's passionate, and he is showing the anger and frustration.
I never had that, whatever that air thing is they told you to use, because I hate that thing. I never had that on. Chuck, it's Ike. Quick question, can you call dead fish? Or dying fish? Okay, gotta go, thanks. I got a fish. Don't worry about it.
All right, you heard him. He said he's got a fish. Doesn't have time to worry about that particular fish. What could happen here with Mike Iaconelli?
It's not against our rules, BASS rules, to cull a dead fish, but it's possible it could be against state law.
If you know what, you need to have an officer of the wildlife officer there to witness that. And is there a rule violation or not? There's a lot of questions there, Jay. We're not sure what's going to happen.
There needs to be a wildlife officer to witness
a violation of releasing a dead fish. It's called a waste of wilderness, and you're letting a fish go. And that's a good question. Did he let go of fish that was dead or not?
He's not going to be penalized. Nobody around. He's good to go. His weight will stand, and he's got to go for it tomorrow.
Are there any sportsmanship issues?
That it's questionable. You know, grabbing the flag, doing the pole. That's
anger management issues. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we know with Mike, there's a lot of drama on the water, and that certainly was the case at least for day one here at Lake Toho. He finds himself in 35th place currently. That's 10 from the cut line, guys.
We still have Luke Clausen on top.
Oh, and the weights are still astounding. It's just it's amazing what's happening out there. And even the second page, like we've said before, humongous weights for a classic, Shaw.
I mean, when you look at 20 pounds in the top 7, and look at these stringers down here at 15th, 14th place, Mark Menendez, 17 pounds. These are just big stringers. Tommy Biffle in 20th. Top 20 is more weight than
Kevin VanDam is the bubble boy. Check this out. 25th place right now. We got Kevin VanDam. That's a key point to make. He's got to catch him.
Absolutely. You know, after winning the Classic last time, he missed the cut. Will he miss it tomorrow?
Oh, and here's the surprises so far. Terry Scroggins, Gary Clunn, some of the guys out there. Iaconelli.
My goodness, way down on the bottom of the list. And, of course, the guys dragging up right there. Timmy Horton, past angler of the year. Zell Rowland, great angler. Dave Woolek.
Well, a lot of records have fallen so far. You know day 2 will be just as exciting. We're back to wrap up day 1 of the weigh-ins at the Bassmaster Classic right after this.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the Citgo Bassmaster Classic is brought to you by Citgo and in part by Mercury Marine and Purolator.
We've completed our first day of fishing here in Kissimmee at the Citgo Bassmaster Classic. Day 1, everything we thought it would be and more. Tomorrow is Elimination Day. Live coverage begins at 7 a.m. Eastern and again at 11 with Bass Center on ESPN2. Join us tomorrow on ESPN at 4:30 p.m. Eastern for Day 2 weigh-in coverage from the Orange County Convention Center. Our Day 1 leader, the youngest angler in the field, 27-year-old Luke Clausen, but only 5 ounces behind one of 2 Floridians, Preston Clark, on his heels and still very much in the hunt. Edwin Evers, the newlywed, 23 pounds, 10 ounces. Ron Franklin has covered many Bassmaster Classics. Ron, your thoughts on day 1 of the 2006 Classic?
What a totally outstanding day. When you look at that leaderboard, to have Luke Clausen at the top, the youngest competitor in the field, and look 4 spaces back at number 5, Rick Clunn, the only 4-time winner of the Classic, and he's sitting there. He caught a big bass of 10 pounds and 10 ounces, and you see a lot of other new and fresh faces. It reminds me of a time when I was growing up and ready to go to the prom, and I knew the prettiest girl and I wanted to kiss her. And you find out in this Bassmaster Classic day number 1, well, there are a lot of pretty girls at this party. This is going to be a horse race, guys.
Yeah, most certainly will, guys. It's shaping up to be a good one. Everything that we thought it would be. Your thoughts on day 1, guys?
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. The weights, just like I thought were going to come in. Giant fish, giant weights, and some great anglers. I did not think West Coast was going to be on top.
He's in the house. Luke Lawson's pulling it off, and I was always bragging about the West Coast fishermen. Here they are showing their stuff. Versatile young angler Luke. I mean, he has done his homework. He is no one to sneeze at. This guy could pull it off real easily. He's going to know what to do to go out tomorrow and make it happen again. Maybe another 20-something pounds. What's
5-ounce lead is all.
Oh, there you go. Be in Florida on me.
It's going to be tight.
Guys, we saw the day 1 total fall, 29 pounds.
Records.
What can we look for as a winning? And I know it's tough to project, but what do you think it'll take to win this Classic?
Wow.
Oh, you know what? It's going to be a guy that goes out and figures out how to hold on to these massive first leads. Are they going to go out and catch another 29, 30 pounds, Shaw?
I think you're looking at him maybe catching 18 to 20 tomorrow, Luke, and then catching maybe another 15. I think 14, 15 is going to be a low weight. So you put those together, he's still going to be right up there in the 60, 70-pound range.
Yeah, but look at the comparison to Pittsburgh. That's what's amazing is what we've seen here compared to the last. Look at this. At the last term at Pittsburgh, that's a 3-day totals there versus today's totals.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, a lot of fish were caught in Pittsburgh, but look at the weight. The weight's the key. total for Pittsburgh, 232 pounds, and here in the first day, 734 pounds, 3 times the amount, and that's because we're in Florida. Big fish.
8 limits total in Pittsburgh. All but one angler today caught their limit, and here's a look now at the leaderboard.
Unbelievable. Rick Clunn in the top, Davey Height, Jeff Crete, Larry Nixon in 8.
And page 2. Page 2 is still these astounding weights. It's incredible. The guys are catching big fish, and any one of these guys can do what we saw today. The bubble, a 10-pounder for Kevin VanDam. We saw some 10-pounders today,
yes,
Shaw.
Sir.
10-pounder tomorrow. Boom.
But if he doesn't catch them.
Well, plenty of big fish still to be caught in Lake Toho, and it provides to be an exciting day 2 tomorrow at the Classic. For Bass membership information, log on to Bassmaster.com. For Shaw Grigsby, Byron Velvick, and Ron Franklin, I'm Jay Crawford saying so long from Kissimmee. Up next, Friday Night Fights.
It was the first time the Bassmaster Classic was moved to the month of February, and it produced huge fish as expected. Unfortunately, all the records were overshadowed by 2003 Classic champion Mike Iaconelli being DQ'd for the day because of unsportsmanlike conduct on the water.
I'm an emotional person, and I show my emotion, and that's how I am. That's how I fish, and I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I didn't do anything to injure anybody. You know what I mean? I didn't direct my anger at anyone in particular. My anger was directed at an inanimate object, and if you're going to disqualify for that, that's ridiculous.
We will follow up with more at 7 a.m. Saturday on Bass Center and live coverage throughout the day on ESPN2.